Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a spring book recommendations plus my spring TBR, and I have quite a bit on my TBR. So I'm gonna go through the TBR first, then we'll get to the recommendations. First on my TBR is The Conditions of Will. I'm actually in the middle of reading this right now. This is how far I'm in, and I'm enjoying it. So far, I'm on chapter 18, and I just missed her writing, and I actually forgot that this was coming out until like the day that it came out. So I'm super excited to have another Jessa Hastings. And then this also was the perfect timing to film this video because as I was getting out all of my books, can I help you? Can you move? As I was pulling out all of these books from my TBR and my recommendations, my book of the month was delivered to my door. So, perfect timing. This is Passion Project by London Sperry, and this cover is so pretty. Like, how bright. I love the bright colors. And then, like, look at the skyline, the New York City. I'm pretty sure it's New York. Yeah, it takes place in New York. But this one is about Bennett Taylor, who should be living the best years of her life, but she's failing miserably. Adrift in NYC, she has no direction and no energy to find one. When Bennett is set up on her first date with Henry Adams, she drunkenly confesses that she's not ready to love again. In fact, she doesn't feel passion for anything. Not pottery, not sports, nothing. Irrepressibly adventurous, Henry offers to help Bennett uncover her passion for life. Every Saturday they try a new activity as friends, of course. Their passion project finds them sampling photography, tattooing, even rappelling off skyscrapers, but when secrets surface, Bennett finally has to face the grief that's holding her back. With tenderness and electric banter, Passion Project is a story of finding a spark and igniting happiness. So this kind of sounds like it could be similar to Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. The female main characters are struggling to move past something and find passion in their life, and then enter the male main character and he's like, we're gonna help you find that again. So I'm super excited to read this one. Then I have How to Hide in Plain Sight by Emma Noyes, I think. I don't know how to say her last name, but this one's more, I think, of like a literary fiction, where this girl's coming back for her older brother's wedding and she hasn't seen her family in like years, but she loves her family, but just something happened that there's a reason that she left and like hasn't come back, and she sees her best friend there, and I guess something happened between them. And I think this one also touches on the topic of OCD. I think the main character has OCD. So I want to read this one. Also, there's swimming in the colors, just get spring. A lot of my TBR and recommendations might be based off of more of like the vibes and like the colors on the cover. I feel like that's a good enough reason. I don't know. So we have that one. And then I have the Love Haters by Catherine Center. This is actually an arc, and it doesn't come out until May. I don't even know what this one is about. It's a thin line between love and love-hating. Katie Vaughn has been burned by love in the past. Now she may be lighting her career on fire. She has two choices: wait to get laid off from her job as a video producer, or at her coworker Cole's request, take a career-making gig profiling Tom Hutchison, a Coast Guard rescue swimmer in Key West. The catch: Katie's not qualified, she can't swim, but she pretends that she can. Plus, Cole is Hutch's brother, and they don't get along. Next stop, Paradise. Okay, so I guess she's gonna work for him, and yeah, with this lie. Sounds like a lot of fun. Swim lessons, helicopter flights, conga lines, drinking contest. That sounds fun. And I really enjoyed the rom-comers by Catherine Center, so I'm looking forward to that one. And then the next is Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. This came out April 1st, I think, and this is a thick book, so it's kind of been scaring me off, but it sounds very interesting. Where it's about these three siblings who their fathers died, and he's like a really famous like CEO of his tech company, and I think they're all trying to compete to be to inherit his company. And the kids are all super gifted. I don't know what kind of, if this is fantasy or not, because it says any one of his 3 telepathically and electrokinetically gifted children would be a plausible inheritor to the Ren Fair throne. So, do they have like special powers? I don't know. Hopefully I can get to that one. It's just like a really long one, and I'm really into like short and sweet romance books right now, so that kind of book kind of scares me. But I do want to get to it. And then I have Beth O'Leary's newest release. This is Swept Away. And basically all I'm going to say is this little blurb that's on the back. It says, 2 strangers find themselves stranded at sea together in this epic love story. What if you were lost at sea with your one-night stand? This kind of sounds like my worst nightmare. Like being stranded at sea. Hello? That's like my biggest fear. I'm so scared of the ocean. Like deep water. I mean, who wouldn't be, honestly? Boats, water, ocean scares me, so this kind of sounds intriguing. And then I just got this book. This is Deep Cuts, and I also think it just came out. I had seen it, but I didn't care to like look up what it was until I saw someone. I think it was Haley Pham. She read it, and she said that it is like a very toxic relationship between 2 people where they're like so obsessed with each other but also don't know how to stop hurting each other. And if you know anything, or I feel like I talk about this book in every single video, but it's The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I'm obsessed with that book. I love the characters. The characters were so toxic and messy, and the relationship was so messy, and they loved each other, but they just constantly hurt each other, and I have been yearning for that. I need something else like that. I don't know what it says about me, if that's like my favorite. I don't know, is it a trope? I don't know. But this one is apparently giving that. So, I do want to get it. I love that it was like a vinyl. This one's about like the main characters, like, oh, it takes place in the fall of 2000? That's a vibe, honestly. Moving from Brooklyn bars to San Francisco dance floors, Deep Cuts examines the nature of talent, obsession, belonging, and above all, our need to be heard. I feel like this is going to be a 5-star. I'm just going to predict it now. So, I'm super excited about that one. Then I have The Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Lori Gilmore. This is the author of the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and honestly, I don't love this series, and especially that book, and I don't remember the second one, like the Cinnamon Bun bookstore. And then I don't think I read The Christmas Tree Farm, but I only want to read that in Christmas, but I didn't get to it. But this one's just, they're just so cute. It's the covers, I think, that keep me wanting to read them. So, I mean, I guess that's a good thing. And it's a small town romance, and I feel like those are like really good spring and summer books. So I don't even know. This one's like a single parent trope, single dad trope, and that might make this book a little bit more interesting. So hopefully I like it. Then While We're Young by K.L. Walther. This came out like last month, like the beginning of March, and I still haven't read it. It's a YA romance, but she wrote The Summer of Broken Rules, and I really enjoyed that one. So this one is a romantic adventure in the city of brotherly love, inspired by the cult classic film Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which I haven't even watched that, so I know. But this is about like a group of 3 friends, and then a brother of one of the friends, and there's like some weird romance things going on. I don't know. But I do know that I always enjoy her books and they're fast paced, so I think I'll enjoy it. Also released like at the beginning of March is, no wait, this came out in September of last year, I think. It came out in 2024. Yeah, I'm trying to start this. I don't know why I can't make myself read it, because I really loved the first one. This is Emily Wilde, by the way. This one's called Map of the Other Lands, and then the third one already came out, but I'm waiting for it to come in paperback, so I have time to read this, I guess. But I feel like the cover and just, it's a cozy fantasy, but it's the kind of cozy fantasy that I think is perfect for the springtime, because it's not dark. I feel like it's very whimsical, and I feel like those type of cozy fantasies that are like fairy folktale-ish are perfect for the spring. So I want to try to get to that one. Another fantasy is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. I have had this on my TBR for a while. I've just been saving it because I don't want to get into like another series right now. I'm trying to get through most of the series I'm in the middle of right now, but this just, every time I see it on my TBR, I just want to pick it up. And there's 4 books in this, I think. But I don't know. I don't really know what it's about, and I kind of just want to go into it blind. So we have this one, Perfect Fit by Claire Gilmore. I feel like, again, the cover, perfect, spring vibes. And I also really like this one because the main character works at like a fashion company. Yeah. And I majored in fashion merchandising, so it kind of is calling out to me, and I feel like I need to read it. So that's really my only reason for that one. I have the second book in the Silver Pines series. I've never heard anyone talk about this. It's a small town cowboy romance, but these are a lot spicier than like Elsie Silver. But I still enjoyed it. They do have a little bit more of like, they're not just spicy, like they have some deeper meanings. Like they have like deeper levels to them, which I really enjoy. And this one's about the older brother of the girl from the first one. And the first one is called Holding the Reins, I think. And the third one's coming out this year, I think. But I actually really enjoyed this. They're a lot longer. Like, look how small the words are in here. And I also think the cover is just pretty. But it's been sitting on my TBR for a while, and I don't want to wait too long to continue the series because I feel like I'll just forget the characters. So I want to get to this one. Then I have a Hannah Bonham Young novel, Next of Kin. I want to read this series. It's been on my TBR for a while. Basically, all my TBR, my entire spring TBR is mainly just romances because I feel like spring and summer are the best times for romance. So there's that one. Then I have The Catch by Amy Leah, I think. I don't know how to say her name, but she wrote X's and O's. And this is called, did I already say it? This is called The Catch. It just gives spring vibes, like fishing. He's fishing on the cover. I don't know. But every single one of her characters in this little, it's called the Influencer series. They're influencers. And this girl is a fashion influencer. Probably the only reason why I wanted to read it. I don't know. She ends up in a fishing village on the east coast of Canada. And the only thing scarier than nature itself is the burly and bearded B&B owner and fisherman Evan Whaler, who single-handedly disproves the theory that Canadians are nice. I don't know. We'll see about that one. You with the View by Jessica Joyce. Again, the cover, it's a YA romance, and I read The X-Files, I don't know, sometime last year, and I really enjoyed that one, so I want to get into her other books. And this one's about 2 former high school enemies who reunite for a road trip inspired by their grandparents' broken engagement. So that sounds very fun. So those are all the books that are on my physical TBR for the spring, and then I have some new releases that I'm also looking forward to. So the first one is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, of course. I'm so excited for that one. April is like the best time of the year because it means we get a new Emily Henry book. Again, I don't want to go into like what every single book is about. So just know we have that one. Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. It's the 4th book in the Done and Dusted series, the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and I'm super excited about that one. Reckless, the 3rd book in the Powerless trilogy. Super excited. Comes out, I think, on Tuesday. It comes out very soon, so I'm super excited. Let's see, what else? It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan, I think is how you say her name, and I loved all of her other books. She just writes great, like, women's fiction with some romance in there. They're so good, and she, I think every single one of her books has touched on like motherhood a little bit, and I just love that about them. And they're great spring and summer reads, so I'm really excited about that one. One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. This one's about the brother, I think, from Every Summer After, and the cover is stunning. I love it. I'm really excited about that one. What Happens in Amsterdam by Rachel and Solomon, I think. This one I have no idea what it's about, but it's mainly the cover that is the reason. Love Arranged, the third book in the Lauren Asher, whatever series that is. The Love Redesign, Love Unwritten, that series. I don't know what it's called, but like Front Billionaires maybe. We have that one, and then I think it's all of them. Yeah, those are all the new releases that I'm looking forward to. So now let's talk about my spring book recommendations. These, I have quite a bit, and like I said, they might be just based off the cover or just the overall vibes, okay? So first, we're going to talk about Emily Henry again, Book Lovers. I feel like all of her books, because they're all romance and like women's fiction, are great, like for the summer. But I feel like specifically the other ones I read in summer because I feel like they, I would say, are more summery because they take place in the summer. But maybe even Funny Story could be a springtime book. But I think Book Lovers gives off spring vibes, like the cover. They go to like a small town. They talk about books. She's a book publisher. She's a literary agent, and the other one is in the guide, Charlie is a editor that she's worked with. I just feel like it gives the most spring vibes out of all of her books, but you should totally read all of her books. That's my point. It's just Emily Henry in general. Then for fantasy, I would recommend Spark of the Everflame. This is part of the Kindred's Curse saga. And this is book 1. I have the other 2 books. There's 3 books out right now, and there's going to be 4, and I think it comes out next year. But I feel like this is a good fantasy. I feel like some fantasies really only give fall vibes. Like, I only want to read fantasy in the fall and winter. But I feel like this one and like the Powerless trilogy all could be good reads for the spring, and I really liked this series. I need to read the 3rd one. That's another one that's on my TBR, is the 3rd book in this series called Heat of the Everflame. I have it downloaded on my Kindle, but it's so long. But these books are amazing. The banter and the tension. I just feel like the world they live in is very springy. I don't know why. So if you want like an easy fantasy to get into, I would recommend this one. And then I just mentioned the Powerless trilogy. So I have Powerless and Reckless right here. I just feel like, again, they're easy fantasies to get into. And I feel like these type of fantasies just work really well in the spring and summer. Whereas like a more intense like fantasy with a lot of world building is better for the fall. I just feel like, I don't know, these just give spring vibes to me. I don't know why. But this is about Hayden, who in this world, they have the ordinaries and the elites, and the ordinaries are ordinary. They don't have any powers, and the elites obviously have the powers, and they see themselves as like higher up, and basically the kingdom is trying to get rid, like purge the ordinaries, and they have these trials. I don't know how often they have them. I don't remember. But anyway, they have these trials that elites are in, and she's basically survived by pretending to be an elite, and that's how she ends up being in these trials. So she's in these trials with all these people that have powers, and she doesn't. So, you know. But if you like fantasies with like trials, kind of like the Hunger Games, then you'd enjoy this one. And the 3rd book comes out on Tuesday, so you'd have a completed series to read. Then, Heartstopper. I love this series. It's a graphic novel series, but it is so good. There's 5 volumes out right now, and I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a 6th one, but I don't know when it's coming out. And it also has a Netflix show, which is also really good. It's about Charlie, who is kind of like, he's very shy, and I don't want to say nerdy, but kinda. He ends up sitting next to Nick, who is the star rugby player. He's very popular, jock. and they become friends. And then Charlie is like already openly gay at his school. Nick and him form a friendship, and then Nick starts to struggle with his own feelings and like discovering like who he is, and like I don't know, it's just so good. And the author also talks about like serious topics in these novels. They're just so good. It's so cute. They make me so happy, seriously. Next, I have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter and Nothing Like the Movies. These two go together. It's about Liz and Wes, who are neighbors, and they kind of like strike a deal. She wants to go to prom with this guy that she likes, who has just moved back, and he's gonna help her get him to ask. But obviously there's other feelings involved, and Liz is like a hopeless romantic. She loves romance and like rom-coms. So you get some like Easter eggs of those, and it's really fun. Lynn Painter also puts Taylor Swift Easter eggs in her books, which I also love. They're just fun to like pick out. But yeah, it's just a great YA romance, I think, for the spring. And I mentioned Annabelle Monaghan earlier, and this one specifically I feel like is a good spring into summer book, because the other two are like actual summer books because they have summer in the name, but this one doesn't. So this one's about Nora Hamilton, who is a Romance Channel screenwriter, and her last screenwrite, is that what you call it? I don't know. Her last script was picked up by Hollywood, and they want to film one of the scenes at her house because she uses like this shed in their backyard that's like important to the story, and they want to film it there. So the actor who's playing, she wrote it about her divorce, like her ex-husband and herself, and the guy that's playing her ex-husband like is there, and he ends up staying for a while and like doing normal things, and she has kids, and I really love her writing. It's so beautiful, and just how she describes motherhood and like divorce and navigating through that. It's just so good, and they're short and sweet. Then I have the When in Rome series by Sarah Adams. I don't know if that's actually what this is called, but these are standalone novels. The first one is When in Rome, and this follows Amelia Rose, who is a like famous pop artist, and she ends up stranded in Rome, Kentucky, in front of Noah Walker's house, and she's used to like people treating her like, you know, because she's famous, and he doesn't give a crap about that. And she ends up staying there, and he starts to see that she's not really just a pop star, like she's actually a human being. And yeah, has the perfect small town vibes. Everybody's in each other's business. It's so good. The romance is so good, and they're really fast. I think I read all these books in like less than a day. And then the second one, Practice Makes Perfect, follows Noah's sister, Annie Walker, and Amelia's bodyguard, and they kind of like fake date, or he takes her on like practice dates to help her get better at dating. And I love that trope. I think that's like one of my favorite tropes. And she also owns a flower shop. That's why it's so pretty. And then this one's the newest one, Beg, Borrow, or Steal, and I really love this one because it's kind of like enemies, rivals to lovers, and I ate it up. This one's about Emily Walker. She's the oldest sister of the Walker siblings, and she has like a nemesis. He is her coworker. They both teach second grade, but he never really acts like a nemesis. I think he just like fuels into her hatred because he thinks it's funny. But you can tell that he like really likes her, and I just ate this one up too. Then I have The Love of My Afterlife. I actually listened to audio. The cover obviously was a big part of it, but this one's about this girl who she thinks she meets the one after she dies. Okay, she's in the afterlife, and it kind of reminds me of The Good Place, like where she is. She thinks she meets the one, so she kind of makes a deal with the person in charge to give her like another 10 days to see if she can find him on Earth. And yeah, it's actually really funny. I actually listened to the audiobook, I think, and she's British, but the main character is just kind of really funny. It's an easy, short read. Then I have Picking Daisies on Sundays. Again, look at this cover, so pretty, by Liana Sincati. I don't know how to say her name. But this one takes place in the West Village, and this girl loves rom-coms, and she ends up running into best friend Levi. Like, they've been estranged for like 4-ish years, I think. And I don't know. I just think it's really fun. She sews. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that one. Then I have A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. Again, this is so pretty. But this one is about Elsie, who ends up stranded in her favorite book series. Is that not like every book lover's dream? Seriously, I love it. So she's like meeting all the characters from her favorite series, and there's a guy there that she can't figure out like who he is in the series, and I don't know, I just feel like a lot of it, like there's like a thunderstorm. I just feel like it gives major spring vibes. And I actually read this like in this like summer last year. I think it came out in July, but I think the springtime is like the ideal time for this book. And also just, I feel like it's perfect for every single book lover. Like, the plot is so good. This one's a recent read, and it's You Between the Lines by Katie Naiman. This one is a romance about two poets who have kind of been rivals since they were in high school, and she had a crush on him actually in high school. He was a year older, and then one day in class he kind of like critiques, he's kind of like a jerk when he's critiquing her poetry in front of the class, and after that she's like, no, I hate him. But this one like is very Taylor Swift coded, so if you like that, you would enjoy this. I also would describe it as like, I feel like the Tortured Poets department, like the song, is perfect for this book. It perfectly describes this book in my opinion. But I really like the poetry aspect of this. Like, it was just like, I don't know, I feel like the writing was very beautiful. And again, the cover. After a couple of years, they've like haven't talked in like years, and they end up in the same MFA program. So they're rehashing old feelings, and I just love like writing like this. So that one, and then Abby Jimenez. I feel like all of her books are perfect for spring, like the Part of Your World series that has It's Part of Your World, You're Truly, Just for the Summer. That's a summer book, but I feel like that series in general, because it's like the first book, Part of Your World, it's like a small town romance, and it's so good. But this one, the cover, obviously, but I think this is my favorite one by her. Say You'll Remember Me. It just came out. I read it in like less than a day. I ate this book up. Xavier, I love him. I think he's like at the top of my book boyfriends now. He is just amazing. Okay? He's amazing. I love him. This one is about Xavier and Samantha, and they meet at his place of work. He's a veterinarian, and she brings in a cat that she found, and they kind of he kind of gives off a bad first impression. He's kind of like mean, but that's just his personality. But then they're both like super infatuated with each other, and normally insta love is like cringy and I don't really like it, but I feel like this was done super well. And let me tell you, Xavier will do anything to be with her, and I absolutely ate this up. Her best book, period. Then I have Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. This is mainly for the cover, just perfect romance for the spring, but this one has an accidental pregnancy trope, so if you don't like that, then probably don't read it. But it's not like, I actually really enjoyed it. The characters kind of frustrated me, but Shep really saved this book for me. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, then I have these two from the Windy City series from Liz Tom Ford. I don't know how to say her name. I think it's that. I think it's Liz Tom Ford. Caught Up and Play Along. These are about two brothers who play on Chicago's MLB team. So it's a baseball sports romance, and baseball takes place in the spring, so that's why I'm recommending these. But I also love the two brothers in this one. This one's single dad trope. This one is fake marriage. Kai and Isaiah Rhodes are the perfect men. I love them so much. So, baseball romance. Spring. I don't know. Last is Elsie Silver. The Chestnut Spring series, I think, is a great, I've got all of them right here, are great spring romances. They're cowboy small town romances. And they're not even all cowboy. I don't know why I describe them that way, but probably because some of them take place on like a farm or a ranch. I don't know. But they're not all cowboys. But I just love her characters, and I just think small town romances are so spring coated. I love them. And I will use any chance I get to recommend Elsie Silver's books. They're so good. And then her newer series, the Rose Hill series, I also think are great spring books, especially like these colors are so springy. But her writing is just so good, and I love her characters and the romance in these books. So, okay, now that I yapped your ear off about my spring TBR and recommendations, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!